Rangers on the brink of a record-breaking transfer coup as Oliver Antman jets into Ibrox in a multi-million-pound blockbuster deal. Rangers slammed by Stewart on BBC over collapsed deal. Fee was in place. Kris Boyd says the dressing room's overcrowded. James McFadden reckons the clearout's already begun. And could Jamie Vardy be the shock savior up top? One call could change everything. Strap in, this one's packed, punchy, and pure box office. The knives are already out, and the season's barely kicked off. On the back of that frustrating 1-1 draw at Fir Park, Michael Stewart's been on the BBC's sports scene absolutely laying into Rangers' summer business, and in particular, the collapse of the deal to bring Václav Černý back to Ibrox. You know how it goes. Big hopes, plenty of new faces through the door, but the one lad we all thought was a stick-on to come back, gone. Stewart revealed that Rangers had a deal in place for Černý. Fee agreed. Player keen, he was in the building. All it needed was a signature. But what did the club do? Watched it vanish like a pint at full time. Instead, we're left with Kieran Dowell out wide, and if we're being honest, that's a bit like trying to use a teaspoon to dig a trench. It's no slight on Dowell, but you're comparing a lad who bagged 18 goals and 9 assists last season, someone who was the heartbeat of our attack, with a player who, let's face it, isn't a natural winger. Russell Martin, straight after the draw at Motherwell, didn't mince his words. He tore into the team's mentality, saying they reverted to type and promised to shift out anyone who can't meet his standards. And you know what? Fair play to him. He sees what needs fixed. But here's the rub. Michael Stewart's got a point. You want to play expansive, high-intensity football? Then sign players who can live in that kind of fire. Instead, we've got a 17-year-old Mikey Moore coming in on loan, a real talent, sure, one to get excited about. But you're asking a teenager to replace a player in his prime who already knew the system, the squad, and what it means to wear the badge. That's a heavy burden to chuck on young shoulders. This isn't just about one deal. It's about identity, mentality, ambition. Černý should have been the first name on the list. Instead, we're watching another talent walk away, while the pundits, and maybe even a few of us, are left scratching our heads. Was letting Černý slip through the cracks a bigger failure than anything Philippe Clement did last season? Jamie Vardy, a man who terrorized Premier League defenses for over a decade, 200 goals in 13 seasons at Leicester City, a title winner, and now a free agent available, and if David Robertson's right, potentially one phone call away from pulling on the famous blue jersey. Let's not dance around it. Rangers are crying out for that kind of striker. Danilo, for all his effort, hasn't looked the part so far. Dezers could be on his way out, and Igamane, despite his 16 goals last season, is also flirting with the exit door. Mikey Moore, as talented as he is 17. You can't go into a season with that mix and expect to dominate the league, never mind Europe. Robertson didn't hold back. He said bringing in Vardy would change everything, and you know what? He might be right. Even at 38, Vardy's still got the pace, the sharpness, and most importantly, the bite. He lives off the shoulder of the last defender. He's a menace. And let's be honest, he'd haunt Celtic's backline like a banshee in a blizzard. Imagine Vardy at Ibrox on a European night, latching onto a long ball, bursting past some daft defender from Belgium or Bulgaria, and rifling it into the top bin. It's box office stuff. But here's the thing, Leeds want him. Wrexham, with their Hollywood millions, are sniffing around too. If Rangers want Vardy, they'll need to move now. Because once the window closes and we're still relying on Danilo to lead the line against Celtic on the 31st of August, folk will be asking serious questions. Would signing Jamie Vardy at 38 be the boldest masterstroke since we brought De Beer to Ibrox, or would it expose how far we've slipped behind Europe's elite? Now, this is the kind of move that sends a signal. Rangers are on the brink of completing what's being dubbed a record transfer for Finland international Oliver Antman, and you can feel the buzz already building around Ibrox. A fee that'll rise beyond £5.2 million once the add-ons kick in. This isn't just another speculative punt. This is serious intent. Now, let's be clear. This boy's not just a winger who hugs the touchline and flatters to deceive. 16 assists and 6 goals last season in the Eredivisie. He's creative, direct, and has the vision we've sorely lacked in the final third. You're not dropping over £5 million for someone to sit behind Kieran Dowell in the pecking order. No chance. And listen, it's about time. After another sluggish start to the league campaign, 1-1 at Fir Park again, Russell Martin knows he can't afford passengers. He needs spark, cutting edge, and ruthlessness. Antman ticks all those boxes, and at just 23, he's not just here to fill a jersey. He's got resale value, he's got upside, and most of all, he's got something different. Credit where it's due to Kevin Thelwell. Getting this deal done in the current market with so much nonsense around inflated fees and agents playing games shows there's a proper strategy behind the scenes at Ibrox. Whether it's Moore, Gassimer, or young Findlay Curtis coming through, we're no longer relying on over-the-hill journeymen to spark a title challenge. But here's the twist in the tale. This is now the most expensive deal in go-ahead Eagles' history. Rangers are paying the price, not just in cash, but in expectation. This boy has to deliver. If he doesn't, you'll be hearing the groans before the end of August. Is splashing over £5 million on Oliver Antman a bold masterstroke, or just another gamble that could end up on the same scrap heap as Umar Sadiq, Eduardo Herrera, and Carlos Peña? There was a moment at Fir Park last weekend that told you everything about the current mood at Ibrox. Right after Rangers dropped more early season points again, Russell Martin was caught in a long, animated exchange right on the touchline with Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart. No smiles, no handshakes, just pure tension in the air. And it wasn't just some polite post-match debrief. This was a proper, serious chat, and it looked like something had to give. You could almost read Martin's body language from the stands. He wasn't talking tactics or future plans. He looked like a man fed up to the back teeth, someone who's been handed a squad bloated with passengers and prospects when he needs winners and warriors, and pundits weren't shy in weighing in. James McFadden reckoned the chat was less about who's coming in and more about who needs punted out. And then Kris Boyd, never one to sit on the fence, chimed in with full agreement. He called it exactly how it is. The squad's bloated, far too many players, many of whom clearly aren't up to the standard. It's hard to argue you've got fringe players still hanging about like the last punter at closing time. Lads who've had plenty of chances and still haven't stepped up, and now you've brought in 8 new faces and more still to come. You can't keep them all happy, and truth be told, you shouldn't try. It's not a school trip, it's Rangers Football Club. You can feel Martin's frustration boiling over. He's not here to manage egos. He's here to win titles, crush Celtic, and take this club back to the top. But he can't do that with a squad padded out by lads who aren't pulling their weight. So here's what I want to know. Is Russell Martin right to go to war with his own squad so early in the season, or has he just lit a fuse that could blow up in his face before the first Old Firm clash? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.